Greetings! My name is Neosekken, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play of Higurashi When They Cry. This is a series that I've been aware of for several years now, but I never really delved too deeply into. Outside of, maybe reading, just only the TV Tropes page for it. And all I really recall from that is that this game takes place within a rural town in Japan, and that I play as a bunch of school kids, high school age, that get together in some kind of club, and that some very bizarre and often very fucked up shit is bound to happen at some point or another. Now, what exactly all that is, I can't really tell you. I can only speculate, and, well, I don't want to really speculate without having some kind of clue to go on, so it'd probably be better for me to just simply jump right into this and then just tackle it as it comes along, whatever it is that I'm going to be in for. Now, I have no idea how long this first chapter of Higurashi When They Cry is going to be. If it turns out to be short, I might get done anywhere from 10 to 15 episodes or somewhere like that, I might consider moving on to the second chapter. Otherwise, if it's as long as a typical Let's Play that I do for visual novel style games, which could run for 20 plus episodes apiece, I might move on to another game after the first chapter of Higurashi When They Cry, before I move on to the next chapter. I'm thinking Danganronpa. But we'll see what I decide once I get to the end of this thing. Otherwise, I think there's really nothing else I need to say or announce, so I'm going to go ahead and start this thing and see just what the hell am I going to be in for. Oni Kakushi opening. At least I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome to the world of Higurashi When They Cry. The Oni Kakushi arc will be the opening inviting you into this world. Don't play tough. Please just enjoy life in Hinamizawa to the fullest. I don't really see how I could play tough, because I think I'm basically playing a kinetic novel, which is basically a visual novel, but doesn't really have any branching choices or paths that I can take at various intervals, so it's basically just a visual novel in the truest sense of the word. I'm just purely along for the ride, with no input from me whatsoever. The difficulty is extremely high, but I hope you will enjoy the reward. The difficulty in what? You mean what I'll be subjected to? I don't know. I've seen plenty of fucked up shit in my life through horror movies and some of the horror games I played, so it generally takes quite a lot to really get under my skin. So, challenge accepted. That laugh was a little unsettling. Please do not lament. I will forgive you even if the world will not forgive you. Please do not lament. I will forgive you even if you will not forgive the world. So please tell me, what will it take for you to forgive me? Federica Bernkastel. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to, the little disclaimer thing. AD 1983, the early summer of the 58th year of the Showa era. What the hell am I listening to? Someone being chopped? If I was going to be ripped apart anyways, having my body ripped apart would have been far better. I trusted her. No, I still trust her. Even in this very moment, I trust her. Why? But I'm starting to realize I only want to trust her because I refuse to accept the truth. It was as if I was trying to convince myself in such a silly, sobbing voice, and those tears. Oh, crap. That mechanical, repetitious sound finally stilled, and everything fell silent. Only the cry of the cicadas remained, annoyingly loud. And yet, I felt as if I could still hear her voice. But that's not possible. She's no longer speaking. The only one crying is me. She never cried. Even when she repeated those words over and over, she never expressed any emotion, because there was none to show. If she had no tears to shed for me, then I shouldn't need to shed any for her. Then why? This pain, my eyes getting moist. Why was this happening? I still wanted to believe I hadn't been split apart. That's enough, right? Inside me, an inner voice whispered gently. My spirit had suffered enough, and countless times I'd wavered over whether I should just throw the battered thing away. Except, I've stubbornly refused to do that, haven't I? I'd feel better if I just threw it away. Even knowing that, I chose to believe, didn't I? Only I can understand that painful struggle and appreciate it. Hey, me? I've tried more than enough. I'll acknowledge that much. So, isn't it alright to just take the easy way out? Besides, I'm not throwing it away. I'm leaving it behind, with her, like flowers by a grave. That's pressing. Now then, calm your nerves. Even though you can't feel your right arm, just lift it up. And if every swing, forget a little more. That kindness made me happy. That adorable smile brought me joy. I liked petting your head. I loved how demure you were. Because this will be the last time. Because when I swing this down, I'll forget. This is my first and last bouquet for you. Perhaps I really did love you. Well, I see we're already off to a somewhat disturbing start. And depressing. Somebody has been apologizing for one. Okay, so now I have control. For a second there, I was starting to wonder if this whole thing would be entirely automatic, which would be a bit troublesome for me, because saving and loading and stopping, pausing, or whatever might have been a bit tricky if I wanted to be absolutely precise on where I would end up stopping and resuming. But whatever. So, right-click gives me access to the menu. Configuration options, hide text box. Okay. I guess I can use that for screenshots. Got a log function here. I can access the menu through this button as well. Skip and auto. Somebody has been apologizing for a while now. I wonder what she's apologizing for. It felt wrong to eavesdrop, so I tried to ignore it. It had been a while since I last went to the city. I only returned to attend the funeral of a relative. Even though I lived there until last month, I found the bustle of the city to be overwhelming. You know, I'm worried that the sounds might be a bit on the loud side, so I'm going to lower it slightly. There we go. See how this sounds post-production. Those skyscrapers and the multi-lane roads. The melodious cacophony of the crosswalk. Even the campaign speeches blaring in front of the station felt nostalgic. The place where I live now isn't nearly as lively. There's only the chirping of locusts and the babbling of brooks, and the cry of the Higurashi, the evening cicadas. So, Higurashi are cicadas. Well, since this whole thing is named after them, I wonder what kind of significance and importance that they have to the overall plot. Or maybe it's just symbolic in a strange way I'll only understand once I get to a certain point within the plot, and that what relevance Higurashi has to the grand scheme of things will be fairly minimal. Rather than making me feel lonely, that quietness had begun to instill a sense of serenity. There is nothing where I am living now. I don't just mean there aren't any burger joints. There aren't even vending machines. That really does sound like an absolutely nothing kind of place, doesn't it? No music stores, no restaurants, and no arcades. Where you live, in the middle of nowhere? Even an ice cream parlor would be unlikely. The nearest town has some stuff like that, but it's an hour away by bike. But come to think of it, it wasn't really a big deal. Okay, I'll lower the sound volume a little bit more. There were music stores and arcades and ice cream parlors, but it wasn't like I ever hung out at any of them. I had lived in a city for 10 years, and never once had been to an ice cream parlor. I should have gone at least once. It's only now that I'm starting to regret that a little. Somebody is still apologizing. Who's she apologizing to? She apologized so much, so just forgive her already. Maybe she's apologizing to you, buddy? You're kind of spacing out a bit too much, and maybe she bumped into you or something? There's no reason anyone should ever need to apologize so much. I started to feel a bit annoyed at whoever was refusing to forgive her. It's probably you, my friend. No matter how bad the mistake, there's nothing that can't be forgiven. Kinda disagree with you on that one. There's no such thing as an irreparable mistake. Again, I kinda disagree with you with that one. It kinda depends on what the mistake is. Like, slaughtering an entire village of civilians just for the sheer glee of it. I would consider something like that to be an irreparable mistake. Because, I mean, that's a whole village worth of innocent lives that you slaughtered for the fun of it that you can't ever undo. And people would rightfully kind of hold that over your head for most, if not the rest of your life. Because, I mean, not just for the act itself, but also the reason why you did it. For pure satisfaction. Any sane person would hold somebody like that with nothing but sheer contempt. And rightfully so, if you ask me. You just need to be more careful next time. She's still apologizing, even now. Then, has she really done something that can't be fixed? I have no idea what she's done. But if it can't be fixed, then that's all the more reason to forgive her. That's a strange bit of logic, if you ask me. If it's something, because again, this sounds like something that it would depend. It depends. Like, if whatever it is, this something that can't be fixed is something trivial, like, I don't know, maybe you breaking a piece of china or something, then yeah, maybe it can't be fixed, but in the grand scheme of things personally, unless it was something priceless like a family heirloom or whatever, then that it really would be kind of pointless, I guess, to hold a grudge, but otherwise, again, I must cite my slaughtering a village for the sheer fun of it example as an example of something that can't be fixed that you probably shouldn't forgive someone for. No matter how much she apologizes, nothing will change. But even so, she keeps apologizing in such a heartbreaking voice. Hey, you, the one she's apologizing to. Why don't you just go ahead and forgive her? How many more minutes are we going to just be spending talking about how this woman seems to be apologizing to someone who's not really talking back? Before we realize it's, I don't know, you? Feels like we're kind of dragging this out at this point. She's apologizing in such a pathetic voice. Keiichi? We're almost there. I'm assuming it's pronounced Keiichi. Because there's two I's in the center, so you would have the first I pronounced in K, and then the second at the beginning of Ichi. We're almost there. Wake up. I was finally roused from my nap by my father's prodding. It seemed the train had reached its final stop. Was that a dream? We spent hours riding everything from the bullet train to the local routes. It was hard to believe that the landscape beyond the window in the city I was in half a day ago were in the same country. Okay, it looks like I made an incorrect prediction this time on who the lady was apologizing to. No biggie. No. That they were even from the same era. From there, we take a car deeper into the mountains. Is there a way for me to... Okay, did I just hit the auto key? Oh. Past where the dense forest encroaching up on the mountain road suddenly opened up. Okay, I'm just trying stuff on my keyboard. See if I can get rid of the dialogue box. Oh, so pressing L changes the language. I think I just pressed skipped. There, where I live now. Hinamizawa. Yeah, I'm going to assume that I can only hide the text box by using this method. Higurashi, when they cry. Even though we were approaching summer, the morning air still had a frigid bite. Although in exchange, you could fill your lungs up with crisp, clean air. Flipping open the window, I was greeted with a verdant expanse. Nothing but trees. The neighboring house was far away on the other side, so I was probably the only one enjoying that view and that air. I filled my lungs with another deep breath. Since I started living in Hinamizawa, I'll eventually be able to say this fluently without tripping over myself. I learned that even air had its own taste. Well, I would imagine so. You know, with particles and stuff. I quickly finished getting ready for school and head downstairs for breakfast. I should probably also lower the music volume a bit. Same level as the sound. My mother was the only one there. My father was nowhere to be seen. He was probably up working until the early morning. Dad had a rather unconventional job as a painter. It's such a laid-back profession. Get up when you want, sleep when you want, and work when you want. Sounds like quite the comfy profession. I was so jealous of that easygoing lifestyle. I even wrote for school that I wanted to be a painter when I grew up. Dad was ecstatic about that. It was just because it looked easy. I never tell him that, though. Mom laid breakfast out on the table. Seaweed, pickled vegetables, raw egg, and grilled salmon. My mom was such a good cook, it was scary. A perfect, immaculate, ideal breakfast. All I need is just a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with raw honey to get me going in the morning. Call me simple. Unlike my dad, who didn't even know the meaning of the word schedule, my mom never squandered any time or effort. She hummed a little tune as she brought over the miso soup. I think I remember how to pronounce that correctly from Corpse Party Sweet Sachiko's birthday bash. Hysteric birthday bash. I almost forgot hysteric. It seems like she was in a good mood today. I'm so happy you've been waking up early since we moved here, Keiichi. If I don't wake up early, I won't have time to eat breakfast. I thought I was being cute, responding with a wisecrack after being praised for being good. Full bowl of rice? Or will half be enough? Pile it on. First, I savored the steaming hot rice with the seaweed. After that, I covered it with the egg. Between bites of rice, I enjoyed the crunch of the pickles. Not bad at all. Excellent as usual. Watching me clean my plate, Mom gave me a warm smile. I'm so happy you haven't skipped breakfast ever since we moved here, Keiichi. Did he have a problem doing that before you moved here? I was not a morning person when we lived in the city. I slept right until the last minute before school and rarely ate breakfast. Boycotting the breakfast Mom made me each morning. That was probably the only way I could protest being forced to attend cram school. I guess that's what you would call my rebellious phase. I wouldn't so much as look at the breakfast she woke up early every day to make. That is rude. You wouldn't even so much as look at it, let alone grab a bite. If I could go back in time, I'd slap myself. I'd save you the trouble and do it for you, man. With your permission, of course. Or maybe I won't need it after. Or maybe I won't ask for it, depending on how I feel. Mindful of the time, Mom rushed me along with a wide grin. Isn't it about time to meet up with Reina-chan? Or Rena-chan? I really wish I was more knowledgeable about proper Japanese pronunciation of names. Hurry. Mom really seemed to enjoy the fact that her son was going to school with a girl. I'll assume it's Reina. Reina is one of my classmates. She really loves looking after people, coming to meet me every day without fail. What a dutiful friend you got. The way I looked at it, a guy my age walking to school with a girl was just lame. Everybody else is lame for telling you that's lame. But while keeping a classmate waiting for me every day wouldn't be very considerate. Seriously though, how long does Reina wait there for me every morning? You could ask her. Taking one last gulp of miso soup, I raced for the door. Please thank Reina-chan for the pickles. Come to think of it, those pickles weren't store-bought, were they? Fresh, grown? If I'd known that, I would have savored them a bit more. Morning! Well, this is awfully cute. character portraits. Wait a minute. Now, I remember that with this particular release of this game, this version of the game is supposed to have updated character portraits. Is that what I'm looking at right now? Okay. No, apparently I wasn't. I gotta say, though, the original work is awfully cutesy. But I think I'd prefer just to use the updated ones. Keiichi-kun! Good morning! Her cheerful greeting was as fresh as the morning itself. You're always so early. You should try sleeping in sometime. So I'm early, and yet you're still here waiting for me. Now I make this guy ask you how long you stand here waiting for him. Well, at least I could if this... At least maybe I could if this was a proper visual novel, but, well, I'm just a spectator in this whole thing. Through and through. If I sleep in, I'll keep you waiting. She's so conscientious. Conscientious? It's been a damn long time since I read that word. And such a good person. If that ever happens, I'll just leave you behind. Keiichi-kun, you're so cold. I wait for you all the time. I'll leave you in the dust, without looking back. Why are you so mean? Why? That's a good question. Why are you being rude? Reina had a slightly troubled look on her face. Well, yeah, you're being a bit rude, man. Toying with her was rather fun because how quickly her mood changed. Okay, so you're just jabbing. You're just jabbing at her like a friend would. Okay, that's fine. I'm kidding. I'd wait for you. With those words, Reina seemed to relax. Her face flushed bright red. Ah, thank you. I'd wait forever until you came, Reina. No matter how long. Forever. Reina turned bright red, steam rising from her head as her brain short-circuited. Now look what you've done, you asshole. You're short-circuiting her. She's especially weak to this sort of talk. It's quite rare to find someone this fun to tease. Have you ever read a romance novel, Reina? Huh. I haven't. Never read any before. From that response, I gathered she was interested in them, but was too embarrassed to actually buy one. Well, you gotta have a library or something somewhere, right? Just check one out for a week or two. I couldn't imagine what would happen if she did read one. I can. She'd probably turn red and pass out. Well, she turned red alright, but I think she has enough fortitude to not pass out. But then again, who am I to make that judgment? I don't even really know her all that well yet. Oh yeah, message from Mom. She says thanks for the pickles. It was nothing. You're welcome. How were they? Not too salty? They weren't that salty. Actually, they had a pretty light flavor to them. It would have been fine to just be honest and say they were good, but apparently I couldn't be that forthright. I'd like to ask something before that. Were you the one who pickled them, Reina? Or was it your mom? Huh? Huh? Why do you ask? Were they too salty? Her attitude completely changed as she began to panic frantically. Was it you, Reina? Or was it your mom? Why are you asking who made them? Why? Depending on who made them, my opinion of them might change drastically. You're cruel. Huh? She counted frantically on her fingers, trying to remember the amount of salt she used to pickle them. It wasn't like I was trying to tease her, but I couldn't stop myself. Guys who take pleasure in this kind of thing are probably the worst. Guys like me. I can think of a lot worse guys. Reina nervously opened and closed her mouth over and over, trying to muster a response. It was me. Delicious. Huh? Pretty good, just like the last ones. They went perfectly with the rice. Her face went bright red again. She was completely spacing out. I'm just going to hide the dialogue box on and off here and there, just so I have possible screenshots to work with each episode, at least until I can figure out a keyboard shortcut for this thing. I'm not feeling too terribly experimental at the moment. It was truly a lot of fun to tease her. I pray that Reina never gets taken advantage of by some lowlife. Like you. Keep at it, Reina. I'll train you until you handle it like the average person. Or so I decide for myself. Let's go. If we keep Mion waiting, we'll never hear the end of it. Another friend of yours? Seeing as she just keeps spacing out otherwise, I called Reina back to reality so we could make our way to school. This strange, easily flustered girl is Reina Ryugu. Ryugu? There's two U's in the middle, so I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it. Ryugu? 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 I'll go on a limb and say it's Ryugu. Ryugu. Bit hard to roll off the tongue. I've only known her for about a month, but I've come to realize it's not just her name that's strange. Okay, so it's not just me then. Mi-chan! Good morning! Coming up to the rendezvous point, we saw another person waiting for us. Noticing us, she waved. You must be Mion, I presume. Ah, finally. You two are late. Usually you're the one who's late. Okay, done. In sharp contrast to the diligent Reina, this one marched up to the beat of her own drum. Maybe it'd be better if I just took screenshots with shadow play, but I forgot the damn keyboard shortcut for that. Fuck. In sharp contrast to the diligent Reina, this one marched to the beat of her own drum. She's Mion Sonozaki. For what it's worth, she's our senior and head of the class. Morning, Reina. It's been a while, Kei-chan. How many years? I was only off 2 days. You don't say. You were so much cuter back then. Mion's gaze stared at my chest and dropped straight down, focusing on the point between my legs. So she was saying it was my crotch that was cuter back then. So you two have that kind of relationship, huh? Okay. Before you ask, just to be clear, I never actually tried to show it to her. Whatever you say, man. I've grown quite splendidly. You'd be surprised. Not only is he bigger, but he has a little mustache now. Being so engorged of energy every morning is quite a problem, though. I'll introduce you next time, so be sure to greet him properly. Don't say next time. Right now is just fine. Oh, please, don't do it in front of Reina. She might have a heart attack. How about letting the little guy get a breath of fresh morning air? I don't think I've ever heard talk so dirty you could smell it fouling up the morning air before. Oh, please, this is nothing compared to some of the dirty talk I've found myself partaking in. Mion sure does act like an old man sometimes. Gotcha. Time for the big reveal. Hope you don't regret it! As my hand reached for my fly, Reina began to ramble in a near panic. See what I mean? You're gonna send her in an absolute frenzy. Hey. What are you talking about? We're talking about dicks. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Penises. Red-faced and flustered, Reina tried to play dumb, but it was obvious she knew exactly what we were talking about. How was it? Seeing the city again. Mion switched gears, dropping the dirty talk and changing the topic to something more befitting the pleasant morning. I only went for a funeral. I didn't have much time. So yeah, did you look for it? That thing I asked for. You're not listening. At all. I just came back from a funeral. I didn't have time to look around in toy stores. Toy stores and hobby shops are completely different, you know. It's really difficult to get Western stuff around here after all. Hey, I can relate. It's often difficult to get Japanese stuff where I live. Is this about games again, Mi-chan? You mean like board games or video games? Mion nodded proudly as Reina giggled. Yep, I want Keiichi to bring me back a Westport catalog, you see. Westport was short for Western Ported Games. Gotta be video games, then. Using that abbreviation did make it sound pretty geeky. What's wrong with geeky? You can just get them to send you one in the mail, can't you? Well, I guess I have to now. I'm going to get another game full of hot action. You don't get enough of that in Japanese games? This time, I like a game that's easy to understand. Mion is a board and card game enthusiast. Okay, so it's not video games. And I hear she's collected quite a lot of different ones. I wonder if she's played D&D. According to Reina, Mion's room has kind of become a museum for domestic and foreign games. If there's a game you think I'd understand, let me play too. Heh, of course. If Kei-chan is up for it. I should warn you though, we're pretty tough. Just what I want. I play all sorts of games. I don't intend to lose. Whoa. Then we'll let you in the group this time, I guess. I guess? Bristling with joy from head to toe, Reina looked back and forth between me and Mion. Mion gave her an affirmative wink, and her expression perked up even further. I thought boys preferred playing outside more, so I figured you wouldn't want to. Depends on the boy. Me? I'm mostly an indoors guy. Reina laughed happily. From such a friendly conversation, you wouldn't think I had moved here less than a month ago. Only that short amount of time, huh? I understood that they all did what they all did. Blah, blah, blah. I'm getting tongue twisted here. I understood that they did all they could to make a transfer student like me feel at home. There we go, Neo. You did it. You deserve a cookie. I'll have to try harder to fit in, so they won't feel like they have to try to make me feel welcome. A month in and you're already talking about dicks with girls. You're either a player, or the girl in question that you're having a conversation with is exceptionally perverted. I felt like if I acted a bit more open than I usually am, it should probably be about right for this place. Hinamizawa was a really small village. Not only was there only one school, but there was only one class. That is tiny. That class encompasses all different grades and ages. Then it must be pure chaos then trying to keep a class like that under control, while trying to teach them all whatever. There are about 30 students at different levels, and they all study in the same class. I'm told that, long ago, there used to be a bigger school building, and they had actual separate classes. However, it seems something happened that made it become a single class, and now it's stayed that way out of tradition. I wonder why. I was shocked at first, but humans adapt pretty quickly. I've already gotten quite used to it. The sound of children playing straight from the morning. With such a lively mood, it felt more like a kindergarten than a proper school. Not that that was a bad thing. Well, for me it is. School children that young could be damn loud. Mion, who had been walking in front of us up until then, suddenly let me take the lead. Right in front of the classroom door. So I was meant to slide the door open and enter the room first. Too bad. I wasn't going to fall for that again. To think you'd give up the lead here. You meant for this to be a test of my skills. Mion chuckled with a haughty smirk on her face. What is it, you guys? Step back, Reina. It's dangerous. She's here! Huh? Then... Satoko-chan is... Satoko-chan? Her name was Satoko... Houju? I'll go with Houju. She was a disrespectful, impudent, bossy kid. The way she talks was annoying, but it would be immature to get worked up over just that. The real problem was this. Quite the obvious trap. A blackboard eraser wedged in the door. Oh, something like that? That's nothing. You should try a bucket of water, at least. It's too obvious. Sakoto! A haughty laugh came from beyond the door. Excellent, Kei-chan. I guess that means you win this round. No, this is Satoko we're talking about. I doubt this is it. After falling for such intricate traps since the day I transferred, I no longer let my guard down. Satoko liked to combine a variety of traps. Traps that are simply there to bait you into the main one. Traps that relentlessly kept coming at you like a sadistic Rube Goldberg machine. The list goes on. She sounds like quite the character. As well as being clever, they almost never misfire. When you least expect it, she strikes. No escape. No time to relax. By the looks of it, this eraser is normal. No rocks or anything in it. I took a pretty heavy hit from a blackboard eraser loaded with rocks on my first day. Ouch! So why don't you just open the door and let it drop? That's what it is. That's what Satoko was after. Make me focus my attention upward. So as I lifted my hand to the door, there were thumbtacks stuck to the sliding door handle with tape. A frightening trap. Yikes! A potent and terrifying trap. Concealed by using the blackboard eraser. An impressive combination, Satoko. But in the end, nothing more than the trivial machinations of a child. She's probably got a third one set up, right? Assured of my victory, I threw the door open and stepped into the room. I felt something strange at my ankle. Yep. It was similar to the sensation of a jump rope catching on my leg. By the time I realized she had me, hook, line, and sinker, it was already too late. I began to fall in an almost picturesque manner. Kei-chan, watch out! Instinctively reacting to Mion's shrill warning, I twisted my body in midair before I landed on the floor. Ow! Ow! An inkstone, filled to the brim, was placed right where I would have landed. I shuddered, imagining a situation I had landed square on it. So you're the little devil that planted all these traps. You deserve a cookie. My, what do we have here? A fair morning to you, Keiichi-san. Aren't we a lively one this morning? Still sprawled in an awkward position, I was greeted by a mocking voice. That was a step up from your usual trap, Satoko. I haven't the faintest idea what you mean. You're quite unlucky this morning. You little... Wow. It seemed I inadvertently sprained my back a little when I landed. Better than landing on that inkstone. A small hand gently rubbed my head. Pain, go away. The small, dainty hand continued to gently stroke my head. How considerate of you, small one. What is your name? You didn't sprain your back or anything, did you? If you rub it like this, the pain disappears. I thought about asking how rubbing my head would help my back, but I didn't. I'll ask for you. How does this help his back? It's not so much about what you actually do, it's the thought that counts. True. Actually, wait, that depends. Like, say you get shot in the shoulder with a gun, and you got a bullet wound out of your shoulder. To me, even though I would appreciate someone attempting to patch me up to make sure I don't bleed out or something, it would be a pretty bad idea for them to wrap bandages around the bullet wound while not taking off my shirt, instead of taking off my shirt first, and then tending to the wound before letting me put my shirt back on, because I think that wouldn't put enough pressure that wouldn't apply enough pressure to the wound for the bandages, for one thing, and two, the wound would still be exposed to the dirty fabrics of my shirt, so the wound could possibly get infected too, if you didn't disinfect it first. So yeah, again, it depends. Call me a nitpick, but I mean, I'm just keeping it real here. Yeah, thanks, Rika-chan. The pain's going away now, so your name is Rika. Yay! Rika-chan! Good morning! Good morning to you, Reina. A good morning to all. Rika-chan greeted each of us with an adorable little bow. If it was a bow, I'd probably expect it from the other one, as another trap. It was infectious. Reina, Mion, and I all bowed back. You're such a good kid, Rika-chan. So much better than Satoko. I glared over in her direction. Satoko was whistling while rather deliberately trying to avoid eye contact. I am the very model of a good girl. Good girls don't cover doorknobs with thumbtacks. Just saying. A good girl wouldn't set those nasty traps. Nothing but lies and slander. It's not lies and slander if it's factual. Exactly what proof? Uah! I picked up Satoko by the back of her collar. She looks like a misbehaved cat when I do this. Now, no need to roughhouse the small child. But a cat wouldn't be setting traps. Cats are clever enough to where they don't need traps. They got natural agility and speed. She's much harder to deal with. I-M-S-O-R-R-Y. Try saying that. If you won't say it... I cocked my index finger on my thumb, letting it tremble as I brought it closer to Satoko's forehead. I'm against violence! You don't even have any proof! Just so you know, my forehead flick really hurts. Oh, that's it? I thought I was talking about, like, pinching your forehead or something. I can split plywood right in half. Oh, so he has quite the tough index finger. Now this I'd like to see. Eek! Stop! Get away from me, you beast! Don't say that in a way people will misunderstand. Well, it would probably help if you'd let go of the small child. A small hand tugged on the back of my shirt. She's been lonely since you were gone for 2 days. Rika-chan is really just so... How could I do anything more after being told that? I gently released my grip on Satoko, who at this point was on the verge of tears. She still had her eyes clamped shut as she braced herself for the forehead flick. Wah! It doesn't bother me! Yeah, it does. You mustn't cry, Satoko. Keep on fighting, yeah. Rika gently petted the head of her prankster friend. You would never guess those two are the same age. Yeah, I totally could. I mean, they have the same approximate height for one. Also, now that it's registering, why do you all have different school uniforms? Is it for, like, different grades or something? I think Satoko could learn a thing or a million from Rika-chan. Next time, set an even more amazing trap. Wait a minute. As she observed the scene, Reina's expression grew ecstatic as she began to swoon. How? Sakoto-chan is crying. So cute. Oh, so you find the suffering and misery of small children to be cute, do you? I totally misjudged you, Reina. I had no idea you were such a psychopath. You can't take them home. Who? But they're so cute. You can't, no matter how cute they are. But just for a bit is fine. Is fine? Just clear it up with her folks first. Reina kept a cutesy face even as outrageous ideas spewed from her mouth. According to Mion, Reina is ridiculously weak to cute things and always tries to take them home. Yeah, I can understand having a weakness for cute things, I can too at times, but you shouldn't try to take every cute thing you see home. That's a good way to get the authorities involved eventually. Object or person. Definitely a good way to get the authorities involved. Stealing is bad, but abducting people is even worse. Give it up. Then I can just look. Just looking. That should be fine, right? Right? Reina swooned over Satoko's crying form. Again, this picture in my head kind of paints a somewhat sadistic picture of Reina. Even though I know this is clearly not what they're going for. If a girl ever goes missing in Hinamizawa, I'll be forced to turn Reina into the authorities. At least you acknowledge the risks involved. Forgive me, Reina. Excuse me. I'll be sure to bring you care packages when they put you away. The teacher's coming. Quickly, clean everything up. That inkstone is yours, right? Just from Mion's single statement, the entire mood of the room shifted back to normal. The inkstone was bad, but the thumbtack stuck to the door handle were an even bigger problem. I pulled the tape off carefully, making sure not to skewer myself. Even though Satoko was the one who set it up, everyone had to pick up after her. By the time the teacher entered the room, the bed lamp from before had been neatly tidied up. We made it in time. Rise! Attention! Mion gave out the morning commands. It's difficult being the teacher for all these different grades in one classroom. Yeah, I can totally believe that. She has to teach something different to each one. All at once from the sounds of it. But naturally she ends up spending all her time with the younger kids. You shouldn't leave the older ones unattended. Just because they're bigger doesn't mean they're still children, and children can get into mischief. Reina and Mion, being in the highest grade in the class, ended up mostly doing self-study. They even end up helping each other, helping teach younger kids, so it seems like they can never get to their own studies. Well, that's considerate of them, at least. They're actually way behind where my studies have progressed to. As a result, I'm pretty much taking over for the teacher and helping Reina and Mion with their studies. You're a pretty good teacher, Keiichi-kun. Easy to understand. Reina took a breather after finishing highlighting an important section. Teaching is making me lose confidence. It makes me aware of how shallow my understanding of the subject is. They say that to teach someone something, you need to understand it backwards and forwards. So while you're teaching us, you're getting in your own practice. I guess that makes sense. In contrast, this person over here is quite fair about things. I don't think I pronounced that right either. For one, isn't she supposed to be in a higher grade than me? Look, Mion, this is for your own good. If you don't take this seriously, there will be trouble later on. Oh, whoops. With these marks, it's not like I'm aiming to go on a prestigious school. I'll be fine as long as I pick up what I need to know for the entrance exams a little at a time. Her staunch defiance was really something else. This was a different type of relaxed than somebody who already knew what was going to be on the entrance exams. Mi-chan, Keiichi-kun is doing his best to teach us. We need to try hard too. You're such a good and honest kid, Reina. I'll make sure you guys get accepted into a good school. Well, what? Thanks so much. Especially you, Reina. Private lessons. Just the two of us. Are you trying to plant dirty thoughts in this boy's head? Because you just did in mine. Private lessons. Oh, never mind. I thought that was Keiichi. A puff of smoke shaped like a halo popped out of Reina's head. Exactly what kind of private lessons she's fantasizing about is making her turn so red. Okay, I guess the only seeds that's being planted in anybody's heads here is mine and Reina's. I'd like to hear the play-by-play about that next time. While Mion was flipping through her vocabulary flashcards, she threw out a casual question. So, in the city, do you have to study this much? If you don't know at least this much, you can't get into university. So you study just to get into a university? Well, yeah, basically. While knowing that this stuff won't ever come in handy in the future. Out here, you can get into university as long as your attendance is good enough. Really? Study equals entrance exams. Having that basic law of the universe so easily overturned sent me into a state of shock. That is right. There aren't really enough people around here to warrant weeding them out with an exam. With a low population, I guess that makes sense. If anyone can get into university, then there's no need to be all uptight about this stuff, right? Well, that's true. But you should at least know stuff that's common knowledge. And I would also argue that it would be good for universities to hold some kind of educational standard so that the best and brightest can get their degrees and be the next leaders in the job market. But I guess I'm old-fashioned in that way, as I'm sure some people would point out to me, even though I'm not being disrespectful about it at all. This old geezer thinks that, instead of wasting time studying pointlessly, you should be spending your precious teen years doing more meaningful things. It was too profound of a statement to simply laugh off. But since it was Mion, it probably didn't actually have that deep a meaning. In place of a chime, the sound of the principal waving a bell, a handbell drifted through the classroom. Kei-chan, we're done! We're done! It's our wonderful lunchtime! Dear God, I just now realized this school isn't even big enough to have a clock to tune out Big Ben's tune. That's just kind of bizarre for me personally. In a game that takes place in Japan in a school setting, there's no Big Ben chime anywhere. Or maybe there is, and I just have yet to hear it. In a complete 180 from her unmotivated state, Mion gave the commands that signaled the end of the morning period. Keiichi-kun, let's have lunch! I might have been making a very troubled face. Rina smiled brightly at me. Alright, let's eat. There seemed to be different cliques, even within the class. Well, it's a public school. What do you expect? And they're all different grades and age groups to boot. So again, what do you expect? Most of them were divided up by gender and age, but our group was different. Our ages were different, and we had both boys and girls. And I'm sure all the art cliques have taken particular notice of that. But we weren't reserved around each other. This level of openness makes a transfer student like me pretty happy. Reina and Mion pushed their desks together so they were facing each other. At the same time, Satoko and Rika-chan were slowly lugging their desks over as well. Keiichi-kun, hurry, hurry! Reina waved her chopsticks in an unrefined manner, trying to hurry me along. Unless everyone was together, they wouldn't even open their lunch boxes. Very punctual. No, punctual is not the right word to use in this context. Look at me, failing basic English again. Keiichi-san's lunch box is most assuredly filled with nothing but bread crusts like some sort of destitute plebeian. Ouch. Why don't you just show it to us? Come now. Even though Satoko was hurling insults at me, she still wouldn't open the lid to her lunchbox until I was there. I bet you just want whatever he's got, right? I pull out my lunchbox swiftly and drag my chair over to join the circle. Hey, sorry to keep you waiting. Well then, Representative Me, please give the signal to start. At first, this was kind of embarrassing, but I got used to it pretty fast. At this point, I probably wouldn't even open my own lunchbox if someone else was too slow. Our ages and genders may have been all been different, but we were all friends. And I bet something is going to happen within the next 4+ hours of in-game time that's going to just make life hell for everybody. You guys especially, because you're all of the protagonists, right? Or at least the main cast. Because why wouldn't a horror game do just that? Let's eat. The sound of our little 5-part chorus echoed beautifully throughout the classroom. Forgive me for being a Debbie Downer, but again, I am playing a horror game to my knowledge. Really though, I've gotten pretty used to this group made up of all girls. Of course, there are other boys in the class, but they were a lot younger, so they were scared to approach me. You probably have the face of a delinquent. Maybe you should get some plastic surgery for it. Well, that's to be expected. Younger boys just see older boys as scary. Compare that to girls. Well, at least these girls aren't picky. We put all the side dishes in the middle where everybody was free to pick at them. I thought girls would mind sharing a meal with a guy, so I was a bit flustered joining in. However, Mion knows that and teased me quite a bit. As a fruit of my efforts, I can now reach over and take sides from anybody's lunch. My, isn't Sir Keiichi's lunch extravagant today? My, isn't Madame Sakoto's lunch extravagant as well? The stewed stuff has a nice look to it, rather trendy. Buying into the fight that Satoko was starting, our chopsticks locked in a cross counter, stabbing into each other's lunch. My, how delicious! This taro is good. The stewed stuff is good too, even cold. After seeing my happy face, Rika-chan's expression broke into a little smile. I saved some from dinner last night. By the way, Satoko and Rika-chan's lunches are always the same. It seems that Rika-chan makes it for both of them every day. Rika-chan made this too. These taste like Mom's home cooking. I was honestly impressed. The carrot rosettes weren't from a mold. They were done by hand with a knife. That's not easy to do. I guess Rika-chan's just good at this sort of thing. She's really good at sewing, laundry, and stuff like that. Well, I can make a pretty mean dish of General Tso's chicken. Although I guess that's not saying much, probably. Amazing, right? Amazing! Rika is quite exceptional in many ways. That's nothing for you to boast about. Reina's actually better at cooking than I am. Huh. Well, you know. It seemed the topic of conversation switched to Reina when she wasn't expecting it, making her blush and trip over her words. Reina's lunch really was the star of the table. Not only did it look good, it tasted good. Everyone else pulled from Reina's lunchbox constantly. You might want to start hogging everybody up stuff from everybody else's before they all take your shit. Everyone liked this one so much before, so I made a lot this time. It's good, I hope. It's got high marks from me. Ah, Mion, you're taking too much. Knocking Mion's chopsticks aside, I reached out, trying to secure my own portion. Satoko and Rika-chan reached over at the same time, and a struggle ensued. Everyone shoveled in mouthful after mouthful while praising it, and Rei's lunchbox was soon empty. It was kind of bad that no one thought to leave any for Reina. You think? You goons? But Reina seemed rather satisfied as she looked on. How'd you like it? Isn't Reina-san an extremely good cook too? Quite different from Keiichi-san. I said that's nothing for you to boast about. You're not much different from Kei-chan, Satoko. Can you tell me the difference between broccoli and cauliflower yet? Satoko's face went pale, and the music went silent. Hey, even I can tell the difference between broccoli and cauliflower, you know. Of course I can. I really can. It's really hard for her to lie. I can relate. Keiichi-kun, both taste good when they're boiled and topped with mayo, right? You should be picking on her. Mi-chan too. Reina hurriedly tried to follow up, but Mion laughed haughtily as she drew closer to Satoko. Well, just pretend it's a little home ec lesson. Now then, Satoko, what's this? Mion lifted up her chopsticks. Between them was a piece of green stuff wrapped in bacon. Broccoli. Never mind, I guess that wasn't much of a description. But that's asparagus. Mion made eye contact with me within 0.3 seconds. Within 0.3 seconds, I had Rika-chan's mouth covered. Holding a piece of bacon wrapped asparagus and giving her two choices. She's pretty terrible. The yellow one is cauliflower. No, wait, the green one is cauliflower. So which? Probably the yellow one is broccoli, and the blue one is cauliflower. But the green one is, ooh. Do you really know which is which? How about you just give up? I expect no less from the class representative. I thought they were still talking. I expect no less from the class representative. The oldest. The way she drives people into a corner just to show how much experience she has. Sounds to me like she's just being sadistic. Experience has got nothing to do with it. This is just a hunch, but being brought into this Sonozaki household must be quite the ordeal. I do know. I really do. Then answer the question. I know. She finally broke down and started crying. Now look what you did. You upset the trickster. When she acts like this, she actually starts to seem her age. Oh, cute. Here we go again. Reina showing her sadistic side. Reina entered a state of euphoria as Satoko bawled her eyes out. I'm sorry, but this image is hilarious to me for all the wrong reasons. Reina was in a state of bliss as she rubbed her cheek against Satoko's head and smothered her. For the really wrong reasons. Really. A very content face. One that wouldn't care if the world ended right then. It was that kind of smile. Reina! Mimi is picking on me. Yeah. Cute. It's okay, Reina. Oni-chan will take care of all those bad people who tease my little sister. Don't you mean Oni-chan, One-chan for little sister? And I think we just we are witnessing violence being enacted. It was like a flash of lightning. What was that just now? Both Arena's fists shot out at supersonic speeds, striking Mion and me squarely in our faces. Damn! I thought it was Reina that was getting punched. Before we knew it, Mion and I were sprawled spread eagle on the floor, staring up at the ceiling with matching welts on our faces. This is the first time you've gotten one, right? Today, she went easy on us. Easy? You mean there's something harder than this? With that, Mia and I both slumped our heads back to the floor in unison. From now on, I'll be careful when I'm within striking distance of Reina. See, Satoko-chan, I took care of them. Cute. I want to take you home. Making sure Reina couldn't see it, Satoko stuck her tongue out at us. Damn it all. Using Reina like a puppet. A very willing puppet, I must stress. Rika-chan massaged our bruises without saying a word. Quite the lovely cast of characters I found myself with. No matter what the day had held, the last school bell always came too soon. Our shadows stretched off into the distance. Hey, Keiichi-kun, tomorrow do you have plans or anything? Huh? It was such a direct question from Reina, I inadvertently blushed. If it was for a date, then wouldn't she do it more subtly? Well, sometimes being direct is the best approach. Reina saw me lost for words and realized I'd misunderstood, and turned red as well. No, I didn't mean like that. You see? So apparently that wasn't what she meant. But since it's always fun when Reina's in a panic, I went along with it a little. Oh, really? So, it wasn't meant that way. Huh? Playing it up, I slumped my shoulders, feigning dejection. Keiichi-kun, why are you so disappointed? Why? Mi-chan! Unable to hold it in any longer, Mion slapped me on the back. I see. This old geezer never knew you could push her buttons like that. Huh? What? What is it? Mion was rolling on the floor, clutching her stomach, while Reina flailed around, completely bewildered. I couldn't help but start laughing as well. Feeling just a bit guilty, I ruffled Reina's hair. Kidding. Sorry, it was a joke. That was my fault. She really is a cute one. Huh? A joke? Since when? About halfway through. Halfway? So, Kei-chan, that means you weren't acting when you blushed at the start? Huh? That means... It was only a momentary lapse, but there was no way Mion would let such a delectable detail slip by her. Well, you see... Saying anything more was also a bad idea. The smartest move you could have done was kept your mouth shut, my friend. In my bewildered state, I slipped further into an unfavorable position. After that, Mion continued to tease me about it for a while. So are there checkpoints to this whole thing? I'm asking because I'm thinking about ending the episode soon. But I think I'll go on for just a little bit longer. So why were you asking if I'm free tomorrow, Reina? Huh? Oh. What were we talking about? It had been so long that Reina had forgotten. That's how long Mion had teased me. It's just, Kei-chan, you probably can't find your way around Hinamizawa by yourself yet, can you? That was true. I hate to say it, but if you blindfolded me and spun me around 3 times like we were playing pin the tail on the donkey, I wouldn't be able to tell up from down here. Yeah. I don't think I know how to get anywhere besides back and forth from school. You've been here for a month and you haven't even looked around the basic town all that much? Yes. So you see, tomorrow we were thinking that Michan and I could escort you through Hinamizawa and show you around. That would be a godsend. Frankly, I was happy about the offer. You'll come, of course, right? If I'm free. You're being invited by a girl, you know. If I'm free. You're probably free anyways. If I'm free. I was being stubborn so as not to give a clear yes or no. Even though it was a godsend, I'm too much of a scamp to say so up front. Keiichi-kun, you're not free, perhaps? Perhaps? While Mia and I had our rather sour back and forth, Reina peeked over at me hesitantly. Figuring I'd been a bit too rough on her, I just gave in. Sorry. Forgive me. I apologize. I'm free. Great! The trepidation disappeared from Reina's face as it blossomed into a smile. Hey now! Seems like there's quite a difference between how cold you are to me compared to Reina, isn't there? It seems Mion didn't care for how rude I was to her, compared to how quickly I agreed with Reina. But her being annoyed was very interesting. So I pushed Reina forward, speeding up our pace to leave Mion behind. Let's go, Reina. Maybe it should just be the 2 of us tomorrow. Leave grumpy old Mion behind. Huh? Whoa. If Keiichi-kun is okay with that, then... I'm the one who came up with the idea to take him around. Don't ignore me, Keiichi. Don't ignore me, Keiichi Maebara. I'm assuming it's Maebara. It'd be great if the 2 of us could go on a picnic together. Should we bring a basket, Reina? We're bringing a basket. I'll make all the food, maybe. Maybe. Don't you ignore me too, Reina. I'll tell everyone that you 2 disappeared into the hotel district together. Did you just punch her, Reina? Well then, I'm going home right now to start making it. Tomorrow is going to be so fun. Later, Keiichi-kun, Mi-chan. Bye! Reina bounded off like she was walking on the moon. After the dust settled, all that was left was me standing next to Mion, sprawled out on the ground. There was a welt on her face. Yep. Are you alright? There were over 2 meters between you guys. There was over 2 meters. She's got quite a reach. Since you came, they've become sharper. This old geezer's body can't handle it. Maybe it'd be easier if you stopped saying stuff that makes Reina want to hit you. Or else this will end up being Mion's slapstick comedy hour. If that happened, the results might be fatal. I don't mind slapstick humor. Don't feel bad, Mion. You're probably the only one who can dodge her jabs. It felt like it was her knee, though. Could it be that we were hanging around with an unrivaled martial arts master? No, I think it's more likely that you two are just too damn slow. Maybe someday we'll see her debut in an extreme contact sport. You can't lose to Reina. You need to train up and have a rematch. Kei-chan, you should. This old geezer will root for you. Mion and I reaffirmed our determination to discover a way to counter Reina's infallible technique. Okay, so there are checkpoints. You have received new tips. We're mixed grade. We don't have a uniform. Tips. Tips. What are these? We're mixed grade and we don't have a uniform. So what are these bonus things? So, Reina, we're the same age? Yes, that's right. We're the same zodiac animal, too. Hey now, it would be weird if we were the same age, but not the same zodiac animal. That's not true. If your birthday isn't the same, then you can have different animals even if you're the same age. Huh? Oh, I see. Mion, you're pretty smart. What month were you born, by the way, Keiichi-kun? I'm July. Reina smirked and puffed up with pride. Hey now, what's the meaning of this? She's not planning to be all high and mighty if her birthday is a wee bit sooner than mine, is she? Don't even. It's impossible to challenge me by birthday. I wouldn't even mind if you bet $1 per month. Huh? Huh? Why? Why? Reina panicked at suddenly being challenged to a wager. Given how panicked she is, I'm certain that she doesn't have much allowance left this month. It's just sending her into a panic about something as simple as a birthday is so fun. I can't help myself. So that means you were born in April, Kei-chan. Right on. Too bad, Reina. I'm already far older than Reina. Oh, I see. Then you're the same age as me-chan. Well, it's just a few months. That gap will open up again soon enough. Mion snickered through her nose. Hey now, that's not something to get all high and mighty about. As if I'm the one to talk. Now that you mention it, you're in a higher grade, right, Mion? If you're into underclassmen, then I can be an underclassman from now on. Mi-chan, you're not making any sense to me. Just by seeing Reina's blushing face, you could tell she knew exactly what she meant by it, though. Then Satoko and Rika-chan are underclassmen. Their grade is so different that they should be in a different school, shouldn't they? Probably. Keiichi-kun, your tastes are a bit too young, I think. You're not making any sense to yourself, Reina. Just what are you insinuating, Reina? I'll just grab onto her head and scruff it up a bit. How? Stop it! I wondered about it before, yeah. I was wondering why this school has different school years all mixed up. There aren't enough classrooms. I can't help it. This building is being rented from the forestry services after all. When she says it like that, it makes sense. I thought our school was strange for a while now. The schoolyard is gravel. There are rooms that aren't for classes, and there's some strange sort of construction machinery parked here. Why is it being borrowed? What happened to the real school? There was one here forever from before the war. War? It got dilapidated. Wait, so this... I forget, when does this take place again? In the 1980s, I think it said at the beginning? 1983 or something? So if that's the case, then are they talking about World War II? They closed it down. It probably was a grand old schoolhouse. Well, because of that, the students would have to attend the school in the city. That's pretty far, though, you know? Which school would that be? Did you know there's a school if you pass by the Okinomiya train station, turn at the hospital, and head towards the pediatrics department? What? So far? I couldn't tell where that was by the location, but I understood it was pretty far from Reina's reaction. Well, that's why. The guys that didn't want to commute to Okinomiya rented out the building from the forestry services and are attending this pseudo schoolhouse here. About half the children in Hinamizawa go there. There are quite a lot of kids that come here on bike. Well, since they're attending this really messed up school, it might be pretty hard for them to get into higher education. That's not true, Mi-chan. If you study properly, you can go anywhere you want. Well, actually... yeah, no, I guess it depends on job openings. That's like the #1 thing. I mean, yeah, it helps that if you're qualified, but if there's no positions filled, then you're out of luck regardless. Yeah, that's right, that's right. I totally agree with Reina on this one. Yes, that's right. That's right. Let's try our best. All of you, try your best. This old man will be rooting for you. Not just us, you too. You should be preparing for exams, shouldn't you? Your future is bleak with grades like this. Fine, just fine. If I get stuck, then I'll just mooch off Keiichi as he works forever. What do you mean by work forever? What do you mean? Hey, you're too loud. Be quiet during self-study. The teacher yelled at all three of us. It was completely our fault. Satoko saw it and chortled haughtily. I stuck out my tongue at her in response. It's just as Mion says. The school has nothing to do with higher education. But it makes up for that by having lots of valuable things that other schools don't. Okay, that's the end of that. I guess I'll check out the other one and then bring this episode to a close. Why don't we have a uniform? That's what I was wondering earlier. Why don't we have a uniform? Although, given everything that we know about the school so far, I guess it's because they just can't afford to have a standardized uniform or something like that. It's only June, but it's already so hot. I can hear the Higurashi outside chirping. Me. And at night there are mosquitoes. Might as well be summer already. My only salvation was that the mornings were still cool. Summer, I do declare. Satoko was flapping her skirt languidly. That's pretty unladylike there. You know, she was a little brat. She still was a girl. Keiichi does seem quite cool with just a single button-up shirt. I'm so jealous. From how I see things, the skirt you're wearing looks like it could be much cooler. A girl like you just wouldn't understand. Wearing jeans during this season, how steamy the crotch gets. As long as the humidity isn't too bad, I think you're pretty okay. It gets steamy. How? This girl has gone imagining something indecent. I'm really starting to think Reina might be the most perverted one here. You know, sans Mion. And her dick talk. Reina's summer clothes have a nice refreshing color. I feel cooler just looking at them. Thank you. They really do feel pretty cool. I do wish my summer clothes were as breezy as Reina's. But Satoko-chan, your summer clothes are so cute, being a one-piece and all. I'd like to wear your summer clothes. Why do I have the feeling you're being serious? This is actually quite stuffy, you know. I do believe what you're wearing would feel much cooler. But it would be so much more fun with cute clothes. How? I had a feeling that Reina and Satoko's base values were fundamentally different. You think? Speaking of which, our school doesn't have a uniform. Yeah, it doesn't. As long as they're proper, then regular clothes are fine. Yeah, okay, that's fair. There are quite a few students in regular clothes. There were a few wearing uniforms, but they were all the same design and rather plain. What's the uniform they're all wearing? They're all the same. That's a city school's uniform. It's not like there's a rule, but they're all wearing them. Speaking of which, everybody in our group is wearing a different uniform, aren't we? Did you go out of your way to get them from somewhere? Why, yes. Mion-san supplied them. Mi-chan's relative runs a second-hand clothing store. They can get school clothes from all over the country for cheap, they say. So you asked those relatives to get a bunch of unique school uniforms, then? That Mion, she probably loves using her friends as dress-up dolls. That must be a strange second-hand clothing store. I get that it's a second-hand clothing store, but stocking clothes from schools all over the country? That is kind of bizarre. It's pretty strange for a second-hand clothing store. What's the point in stocking up clothes from faraway schools they know nothing about? Yeah, I think so too. They also have used school swimsuits and PE uniforms. Okay, that seems a bit much. I don't like the idea of having used ones. Doesn't sound like that shop makes much money. They probably have Mion pitch in and help so they can make a bit more. But Mion says it'll be a big hit and become a great store. With such conviction. A second-hand clothing store that stocks school uniforms will be a big hit? Well, if you're into very specific tastes, I guess it could be. I don't get it. Okay, I guess that's the end of all that. Okay, so things have been going on for almost an hour and 40 minutes now, so I think I'll just go ahead and cut things off here. Well, we're off to a pretty interesting start so far, especially with that opening segment. Because, I mean, going from that, I'm pretty sure that things are not going to end well. Whatever's going to be waiting for me at the end of either this chapter or maybe a later chapter, I have no idea. Honestly, it makes me wonder, what the hell is going to happen that's just going to send everything spiraling out of control? For our main cast, I mean. And no spoilers, please, to anybody watching. I want to experience this thing completely blind. Probably should have asked for that right at the beginning. But whatever. Anyway, this has been Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of this Let's Play. If you did, and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.